Hi everyone, and welcome to another card tutorial. Today's tutorial is my monthly Create a Smile feature where I make cards with the stamp sets from Create a Smile. Today I kind of was meant to make the whole video about the new tonic blender brushes that I just got in the mail, which I just love, but it ended up being accenting stuff in acrylic inks. So yeah. We're gonna start off with the focal images, like usually I do with my cards. I'm stamping in some VersaFine ink, which is watercolor friendly, on some Arches cardstock. I'm using Arches here because I know that it's super thick and kind of stiff, and I want to use that to my advantage. So all of these images are stamped twice because the Arches have a lot of texture and I wanted to use the textured side, so then the Misty works awesome to be able to stamp them at the same place two times. Then I'm gonna color with my distressing. So I'm starting with some abandoned coral, and I kind of figured out, well, I'm gonna cut them out at the black line anyhow, so why not just color straight over all of the images, because I wanted a base layer. This was more, I wanted something to be a little bit more even. Then I'm going in with some festive berries, and I'm adding color on the kind of sides of the flowers, leaving it a little bit white in the middle. The total middle will be a little bit more detailed. But yeah, and then I'm just adding a little bit of darkness at the kind of bottom of those mini flowers. And I had to reapply the festive berry because I didn't get enough ink, but that's okay, you can do that. That's the great thing. I'm working on a kind of just a acetate sheet that I have on my side, so that I can just put the inks on it and then just dry it off. Then I'm going in with a thin, I think this is a number 0 or number 2 brush, that I'm making small lines on the flowers, adding some color to the details. There is so many details in these flowers and you can do really what you want with them. I had a lot of fun just listening to an audiobook and coloring. I really love doing that. Then I'm going to go in with some aged mahogany, which is a very deep red, because I really wanted that core of the flower to be red. I wanted them to be very unison in the colors. I didn't want to add a lot of different colors, just red right through. And then I'm adding a little bit of a lighter kind of glazing on top of it. I think I started with some mahogany as a glaze, and then the rest of the flowers got to have the festive berries. This is when I start adding details with my acrylic ink. You can do this with a white gel pen or with gesso, but white acrylic ink is a little bit more kind of not as see-through as others, and I heard that it would be awesome to make white details with, so I really wanted to try. So I picked up one of these Liquitex bottles, and you get a lot for your money. They are a little bit on the more expensive side, but you get the whole bottle, and I had like 3 drops here and I had to kind of wipe away most of it. So you can use it for a lot. So I'm using this here is a number 0 brush. This is a Winston & Newton Coatman brush that I picked up at a local kind of art store, but you can have any kind of little tiny brush that is very pointy to make details. And just saying, I'm not used to playing with brushes, so my dots are all in different sizes, my stripes are all in different sizes, but that is okay. They don't have to be perfect. Then I wanted to go in and kind of do the background, so I'm using one of these Simon's stamp grids to line up my the stamp, the Friends stamp, which comes from the Friends stamp set from Create a Smilestamps. Again, I did a dual stamp on that. Then I wanted to kind of make a layout for where I put my little stamps, but also kind of get a base for the leaves. So the leaves I'm stamping in some Mowed lawn, and they are just going to be there as extra details. I'm not going to color them in or anything, and therefore I can work on this, which is some white Nina 80-pound cardstock. So I'm just start by stamping out some leaves, and then I'm using my tonic brush and doing this super soft blending. It's super hard to get this kind of soft blending with the kind of blending foams. I really just fell in love with this brush. It's super easy to use, and you get this super cool accent. And I actually recorded this before finding out that Tim Holtz actually are starting to sell similar brushes. And the last kind of details for my background is that I am doing some splatters, because you know I love my splatters. I'm using some twisted citron and some Mowed lawn, just as I did on my background. I'm using that as the splatters, and then I'm going in with that white acrylic ink, adding some more splatters. Then I'm going to cut out all of my little details. So first I'm cutting it, all of them will be cut out at the black line, but this one will actually be cut out so that I can cut in between the leaves to get them to be able to, you can move them around. Then I'm taking a black pen, this is a Memento Tuxedo black marker, and I'm coloring the edges. I'm using this pen just for this because the brush ends up fraying after you have used it a couple of times, but you can use it over and over again if you're just using it for these. So it frays because I'm coloring the edges. So if you are using your marker for other things, for like brushwork, I wouldn't recommend coloring the edges with it, but I have it just to color edges. Then I'm adding my little flowers. I'm using some multimedia matte on the back side of them, and on that one that you're seeing there, I actually added a little circle cut out of the same cardstock so that it would have a little bit of a height and layer nicely on top of the other one. And then I'm using some foam tape for the bottom one of these. Yeah, I hadn't need to add all those details to it, but I did, and I kind of like, well, I can layer them on top of each other instead of either using it on another card or throwing it away. So then I'm kind of moving around the leaves on the one that has where I cut all the leaves up, and then I'm adding it in the middle of that flower, or on a little bit of an angle, to give it more of a dimension, more of a life. Here I'm gonna add that isn't dry yet, so I'm adding my foam tapes on my card base, and then I'm adding the kind of topper on top of that foam tape, just to put it down, get a little bit dimension. And the last thing, or what I thought would be the last thing, I'm using some tonic glaze on top of the flowers to give that kind of rounded see-through. And then I lay it to dry, and I kind of, yeah, but it needs something more. I wasn't happy with it. So I went in with my inks and the brush, and I kind of pulled that blending a little bit further down so that it kind of encompasses that Friends sentiment, but doesn't override it. So I'm tying the top and the bottom in a little bit with that blending. And then I kind of felt that stark black was a little bit too much for those flowers and how I made the background. So I went in and chose to add a little bit of some acrylic ink to the text. And I think I'm doing 2 or 3 layers here with that brush, and it's sped up. This is sped up 4 times, just saying. And yeah, I'm dropping my brush all the time, so you get to see all of those things too. But I'm just filling in, kind of making a line on the left side, just to give the text a little bit of a see-through, making it feel a little bit lighter and kind of make it fit a little bit better with those flowers. And yeah, that was kind of all the different details I had for my card today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please thumbs it up, it means a lot to me. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, just comment down below. And down below you find all the details and links to all of the supplies. And thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!